3, 2, 1, go. Hey everybody, welcome to Hardly Adults. This is our 4th episode and part 2 of Technological Singularity.
Technological Singularity. So crazy. God damn it. I can't wait for it to get here. I mean, it's not happening quick enough.
Some people are anxious for it, like Mike here, and some people don't want it to happen at all, like my mom.
Some people are scared, but that's stupid. Don't be scared. It's going to be amazing.
Why is it going to be amazing?
Well,
here, let's start it. Let's remind people what the Technological Singularity is real quick in a brief kind of what we talked about last time.
A little recap.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Technological Singularity is the point at which there is no discernible difference between advancements in technology. It's going to be so fast that you'll never be able to tell the time between those advancements, supposedly. Now, that's obviously going to be limited by just the physics of our universe is definitely going to put a limit on that speed. But how fast is that speed? We don't know yet because we're not there. So,
if you haven't yet, you should go and listen to last week's episode, which is the first part of Technological Singularity. We go over a lot of stuff that will make this episode make a lot more sense for you.
Also, look it up on your own. Check out certain aspects. Like, there's a really good interview between Neil deGrasse Tyson and Ray Kurzweil.
We learned that Neil deGrasse Tyson is a prick.
He's a dick a lot. I mean, I feel like I would love to have him as a guest star and ask him certain questions, but it'd be fun to try and throw him off and get him to fuck up in his actual logic on certain things. Like, one of the ones that drove me nuts was his Twitter post about whether or not it would be safer to have your power loss in a plane or in a helicopter. He said that he would rather be in a plane and land in a plane that's lost power rather than a helicopter. And that doesn't make any sense, and most pilots would say that that's stupid too. So, I mean, he's got certain aspects that are, maybe a little ignorant, but he's also
he's a cosmologist,
really
though. It's not like he's a cosmologist. He's not like a computer scientist,
Yeah, definitely was kind of being a jerk to Ray Kurzweil and some of it, but it was definitely interesting to watch their interactions and see his tone change from the beginning to the end. I mean, I'm your biggest skeptic, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, damn, you've got some really good points, Ray.
So one thing I thought was super interesting learning about the Technological Singularity is, so we as humans, we're only so smart, right? So if we are able to create artificial intelligence, so we are able to create an entity that is smarter than us, right? That's what artificial intelligence is. It's going to be smarter than us. It will be. It's just going to happen. The computers, I mean, they can think faster, they can process faster, they can calculate faster,
and have access to more information.
And have access to more information. So if we create something that is hugely smarter than us, well, then logic says that entity that's smarter than us can create something smarter than itself. And that will happen at a very rapid speed.
Very likely, but the thing about that is I don't think it will be separate from us in many senses, because there's going to be this symbiotic relationship between humans and that technology. We're going to have humans that are linked through our technology. Those AIs are going to be part of the human brain. When you listen to Ray Kurzweil, he talks about the interfacing between humans and that same technology.
Well, he talks about how, our brain neurons, there's billions of them in our brain, right? And literally each individual neuron is just it's basically a computer. It's a biological computer that it's inputs and outputs information.
Yep.
So it's safe to say that a computer could do the same thing if you get it to be the size of a neuron.
Yeah.
Right. So what's to stop us from replacing our biological neurons with artificial ones?
Well, and as an archaic form, you're going to have nanobots. He was talking about nanobots being the size of
a blood cell.
Synapse.
Right, or
Yeah,
a synapse.
A blood cell. With Bluetooth technology or
by then
further
Bluetooth will be.
advancements, I know.
Yeah,
it's going to be. But wireless.
Right.
It'll be able to communicate with the said cloud. Ooh, the cloud. It'll be able to communicate with that. With advancements in technology, there might be something far more advanced than any cloud where you're interfacing with all humans at the same time and being able to process that information rather quickly, because quantum computing allows you to build a computer so small yet so advanced that it's 1,000 times more powerful than any standard computer today.
Right.
Who knows what the possibilities are? I mean, this is all speculation, obviously, but, it's really fun to speculate.
So, take that a little bit further. So, say we are all part of this cloud. And it's going to be a lot more advanced than like the Google cloud that we have now. But, say we're all part of this cloud, and how is
when
that
you die,
going?
you go up to the cloud.
Maybe.
That's
a new
weird.
religion, right?
The new religion.
Yeah.
Start praising at the DMV.
Oh no. What's going to be the purpose of people? Because machines are going to take over. Not take over like Terminator. They might. I don't know. But
that's kind of the scary thing.
Yeah,
interfacing with that technology like that, at what point do you consider it human or non-human?
Right.
That might be the next step of evolution for humanity, where there aren't technically humans anymore. That could happen through biological processes too.
What do you consider? What do you consider the difference between a human and a computer? Because there's already people that have pacemakers that restart their heart when it goes into AFib. There's people that what's that disease in their Parkinson's? They were talking about Parkinson's. They have computer chips in their brain that help with Parkinson's. There's they can already clone people. They can prove it. You can already
they've done some of that stuff with Tourette's too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tourette's, and
it puts out a signal that actually
seizures.
blocks.
There's some things they've done with epilepsy that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
But so are those people no longer human? Are they a cyborg? Technically, if you look at the definition of a cyborg, it's a human, part machine, part human, right? So are these people cyborgs? Are people that have prosthetics?
Or are humans already machines? We're just based in biology. We're already machines. See, that's a point of controversy.
Are you a cyborg because you have your cell phone? That's basically a part of you. Do you go
Yeah.
anywhere without your cell phone? I know there's people out there that cling to the quote old way of life.
Yeah,
and
true.
they're like, I don't want change. I don't want these all fancy computers, but yet they have a smartphone.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she's terrified of. I was talking to her about the technological singularity. She was terrified. She's like, "What the fuck is the point of all this? What's the point of humans?" She absolutely hates it. And I was like, "But you have a smartphone."
That is the beginnings of that.
You have a smartphone. You, as a human, you have a natural desire for more information.
Yeah.
True. That is the purpose of life, almost, is to gain information, right?
That imperialistic mindset of going out and conquering new lands and learning new information and going into the frontiers of the universe. Well, that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Good idea for a new podcast. It just popped into my brain.
Different frontiers of technology, or the universe just in general.
Yep, I am gonna write that down before I forget it.
Good idea. So, first off, I think we should mention who people can look to find out more about the technological singularity. Who was the originator of the term technological singularity? the first person to really mention a singularity from a technological context was John von Neumann. He's a genius mathematician. He's known as being like
So
the
he's like
last
me.
of the greatest mathematicians, funny enough.
I'm a greatest mathematician until electrician school, apparently.
Yeah, then you're like, oh my god, this is a little more complex than I thought.
I forgot trigonometry, and I was like, oh, shit.
Just remember SOHCAHTOA.
Right. Yes.
So, John von Neumann, he is an absolute genius, and he brought up the phrase technological singularity because he felt that there was going to be a point where you would hit a rise in technology so fast that there was no discernible point from one to the other of technological breakthroughs. Werner Vinge is another guy who you should look into. He and more popularized the idea of the technological singularity. He's a big name amongst like, where was it? Let me see. I'm gonna look at some notes real quick.
He's a big nerd.
Yeah, kind of. He is a science fiction author.
Oh, so are we getting into like Scientology?
But he's also a retired professor.
Oh.
He taught mathematics and computer science at San Diego State University. Wow.
That's actually pretty, I mean...
That's pretty impressive, you gotta say.
Yeah, San Diego State University. That's a pretty good school. Academic-wise, not sports-wise.
Yeah, and he actually won a Hugo Award for his novels and novellas, A Fire Upon the Deep, A Deepness in the Sky, and Rainbow's End, and a few other ones.
And who is today's, I guess, who kind of took over and talks about the technological singularity the most? It's Ray Kurzweil, right?
Yeah, Ray Kurzweil, he's the one who did a lot with the predictions.
Right.
And funny enough, a lot of his predictions didn't...
Falling right in line, and I'm hesitant because there's always the doomsday predictors, right? There's always the people that are going to be like, the world's going to end on December 21st, 2012, and then there's this... And
then you get there and it's like,
it's
that was
very uneventful. This
anticlimactic.
worst end of the world ever.
I know. Like,
but,
man...
No, everything he said so far, as far as technological improvements and artificial intelligence and just general
they're on the path.
Technology, they
Some
are
of them
right
are
on.
Not.
Right.
Some of them are not, funny enough. He predicted that there would be... But there's some controversy on that because Ray Kurzweil has his own explanations. Some of his predictions have been very accurate, like his prediction of search engines.
Right.
That was a big one. He knew that there was going to have to be a way to
there's so much
access
information.
Yeah.
There's so much information,
you have to organize
you have to organize it and be able to search for it.
That one seemed kind of obvious to me.
Google is taking over the world.
Yeah.
Google and Facebook.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Those are the big two.
I'm kind of scared of Google, actually.
And the thing with Google, the thing with Google and Facebook though is they don't have to do any work for the information. Everybody, like Facebook, for example, they don't have to do any work. They don't have to ask you questions. Everybody gives them the information willingly.
Yeah, I know.
I'm guilty of it.
There.
I'm definitely guilty of it. But
I'm into guns. So now we know who has guns. Damn it. A lot of people though don't give that access to the information.
It's true.
Because, like my dad, he refuses because he's scared of Facebook. Actually, funny enough.
Till you just ratted him out.
I know. Now they're going to be like, hacking into all of his other potential sources of information. Ray Kurzweil, he definitely made some pretty big predictions, though, with the whole singularity. Let me see here. I'm going to go.
One thing, people that are religious, specifically Christians, right? They always talk about the mark of the beast, right? They're always talking about like barcodes or RFID chips being implanted in you, and that's the mark of the beast and stuff like that. Here's a philosophical question. So can technological singularity and religion coexist for those that are religious?
Oh. Ooh, man. Controversial.
It is controversial, but I mean, who cares, right? Let's dive into it.
True. I don't even know where to begin. I mean,
well, I think there's some, my mom, she always says that, science and religion can coexist. I was like, but can it? Like, can it
can't.
really?
I mean, it really can't. I'm gonna just be blunt here. Religion, in my opinion, is ignorance. It's ignorance to, and this is gonna be a podcast in and of itself to talk about the incongruencies of any belief in any religion greater than ourselves, because you can only judge the world based on what you see is tangible, what you can prove is there, because that's all you actually have.
So
if you start making assumptions about things, then now you're just getting into, maybe there's a giant spaghetti monster in space. So it's something that people have talked about.
So here, I got something crazy. Okay, I'm getting a little bit. Here's a tangent, or not a tangent, but here's a little side quest. Okay, so thousands of years ago, back when the time of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were not very smart people. I mean, they were smart, but not today smart. They didn't have access to the amount of information. So, and we talk about the universe as being infinite, right?
True.
Kind of. And so it's safe to assume there's life on other planets out there, right?
Yeah.
We can't be the only one. So what if what we think of as God is just another highly technological species out there that came here and dropped off a couple people and said, here, go have sex and reproduce, and here's some animals, and they just dropped them off on this planet that's life-bearing, and that's what we consider God.
It wouldn't happen like that.
You don't think? Well, no, but that's a very, very simplistic way of it. But
archaic idea. Yes, I know the idea. I've seen it a million times. Prometheus would be a more viable idea. Have you seen that movie?
No.
It's actually based on, it's part of the Alien series. Like,
well, you look at Elon Musk, he's definitely an alien, dude.
I know, clearly, but
he is.
You've seen Alien, right?
Yes.
Alien versus Predator, all that.
Right.
So Prometheus was kind of supposed to be talking about the beginning, and at the very beginning of the show, it shows one of the guys go out into the river on this planet that has some water and is rocky, and like, I don't remember, he like stabbed himself or something and released his genetic material onto the planet.
That'll do it.
Started a ton of biological life. Just.
I mean, why not, right?
Well, that's kind of the idea behind it. Is, well, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they do that? The other idea is that, yeah, they started the planet by creating a virtual reality, and we're just all living in a simulation.
Ooh, it's like Minecraft.
Freaky. Yeah, it's like Minecraft. You just keep walking toward
and building
the edge,
shit.
And it just goes and goes.
Keep walking and building shit, and you get attacked by something, and you kill it. Survival, yeah. And you keep.
Minecraft is actually kind of groundbreaking. Wow. All the guys in Minecraft are really just thinking they're people going along through life. Right. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go mine.
Click. There's some giant space kid just clicking away on his mouse.
He's like, oh man, what's up, buddy? How's it going, little Steve? And all that shit,
I got so into Minecraft for like a couple weeks, like not too long ago. I started playing it. My friend Damien, he showed me it, and then I went home and I downloaded it, and I got sucked into it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this game is so pointless,
addictive.
But I built some crazy shit, dude. My friend Damien, though, you should see his world. It's fucking nuts. Like,
I have worked for months on certain projects in Minecraft. It's
and you're like, what am I doing with my life?
I know. I found out. I hit this point where I was like, it's so pointless. So pointless.
But I can't stop.
Nobody's going to give a shit about any of these things that I'm creating.
No.
Nobody's going to probably even see them. One of them was this badass castle. It had like trim work around the windows and everything. Huge castle, like massive walls. It took up like a quarter of the map. It's huge.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous. It was probably too big.
So what if we're living in a giant
Minecraft?
Quote unquote Minecraft?
That's a scary thought, because a lot of stuff it follows the sequencing that you'd use for coding potentially, and at its basis form, it seems like it's possible that it could just be a type of coding, and
Right.
but you can't. It's not provable one way or the other.
Right.
So it's all just speculation. You can't prove one thing or another, and that goes back to the religion thing. Why would you just automatically assume there's no evidence for anything in any
And
way, shape, or form, and you're just going to assume that something has created everything?
Here's the part that's gonna piss everybody off. You know their answer every time for that? Faith.
Yeah.
Faith.
But faith is bullshit.
Faith is believing in something without having proof.
Yeah.
Right?
Faith is believing in something without any proof.
We are going to alienate some listeners.
That sounds stupid. It sounds stupid. When do you ever just have faith that things... You don't have faith that your car is going to start in the morning.
I mean, I kind of do.
I don't. You have to really... I mean, you do work on your car and stuff. You get it, the oil change. You don't have faith that the oil is going to be okay. You know? You
make
get
sure,
it done. You make sure
right.
it's done. Everything
You're
is
not
that
built.
way.
You don't build a building and you just have faith that
It's
the
gonna stay
electrical is gonna work without
without
building
actually
it.
doing it the right way and knowing that it's going to work. I mean, there's a reason why we always have to double check everything and go through all of these processes to confirm that what we're doing is the proper way of doing it.
Right.
And that works with everything in your life. Where on earth where does faith come in?
Well,
Only with God. God is the only thing.
Wow, we have gone off on this one. Okay. So, here we go. So, think about this though, right? So, you look at all the religions, right? They all have their disciples or their messiahs, right? You have Jesus, you have Muhammad, you have Buddha, right?
Yeah.
So, but if somebody were to come today and be like, I am the Son of God reincarnated, I am the resurrection of Jesus, we'd look at you and be like, you need to be medicated.
Yeah, exactly. I've already said to so many people, if ever, and it's pissed off some religious people, just saying.
That's okay.
If something happened where it was like, oh my God, some guy walks down, turns water into wine, puts his hand over a cut and heals my cut or something, I would instantly be like, well, I'm going to the loony bin. I'm obviously crazy. I've lost my mind. Damn it. I was hoping that would never happen. But instantly, first thing I would do.
That's not me. I'd be like, did anybody else just see this shit?
If other people were available to confirm that it had happened, I would be like, let's look into the science of this. Let's see it. Let's start doing some tests and stuff. I want to make sure... Who the fuck knows what that guy is? You say that he's God. He might say he's God, but really he could be the alien thing that we were talking about. He might just be far more advanced than us.
What is God, though? Everybody has a different idea of what God is. That alien thing could... really? What is God, right?
But then, if he's just another species that started our species, he's not really God in the context that religion would have put.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Because then he's just another being that has come about from a normal biological evolution and gained to an advanced state to where he could actually create human beings.
Well, that was a fun tangent.
That was interesting. I enjoyed that, actually.
Yeah.
And it's something that I definitely want to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we should definitely dive into that again.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
That's a good one. So the next kind of basic idea that we probably...
Back to the technological singularity.
We need to continue on this. Some of Ray Kurzweil. Let's go back to Kurzweil and talk about some of his things that he was talking about, like nanobot technology and its advancements. Wow, they're already working on some of that stuff.
Well, we talked about last episode, right? The size of transistors, right?
Yeah.
It went from 2 transistors to a half-inch apart to now they have billions that are was it like 14 or 17?
It's 7 billion.
7 billion. Okay.
I know. I was so off on that because I said 17
7 billion transistors that was like 14 nanometers apart, right? So if that trend keeps going, we're going to get more transistors, more computing power in a smaller package.
Well, and we've already made that big advancement that's going to allow us to get to that smaller
What
state.
is that?
That is quantum computing.
Right.
Quantum computing is going to be one of the biggest things. It's going to allow
Explain
our
what
AI.
quantum computing is.
It's so complex. I mean, they use...
Basic. For people that have no idea.
A lot of people don't realize this, but the model that has been used in textbooks for, decades, the idea that electrons flow around and spin around a nucleus of an atom,
right?
That's not true. That's false. It does not spin around that. You can't see the electron flowing around like that. It doesn't exist like that. Around the electron, there is those shells that they talk about. It's
not around the
cloud,
electron, around the proton.
or around the nucleus of the atom. Yeah.
Right.
That shell around there is actually just a cloud of probability, and you can point at different spots around that, and there's a percentage chance that the electron will be there, and there's a percentage chance that it won't be there. Based on that allows you to create a lot of and I don't know the exact processes of how they utilize that.
Oh, I thought you would.
Well, I've seen videos, but it's just so complex.
Right.
I mean, it blows my mind that they actually figured out. But they use qubits,
right,
and which are quantum particles, those electron fields that they use. The number of electrons that you use gives you the number of qubits, and I don't remember how that exactly is calculated. Like a 16 qubit quantum computer is the biggest that they've made, I believe, at this point.
Jeez.
And 16 qubits is like 16 electrons, I believe.
Right.
That's pretty small.
Yeah.
And that cloud of probability...
That's pretty small. That's fucking microscopic.
Oh yeah, I mean you're
they made a microscopic
so small
computer.
that you're using
But
Planck and stuff.
What's the power though that can produce? That's the thing.
It's almost limitless because the number of positions that electron could take in a cloud of probability, just the slightest difference in the position decides what information it's giving.
Oh, that's nuts.
So in the whole cloud, how many different positions could that electron be? I mean, you could move it such
how
a
do you
small
control
amount, and that would,
though?
That's something that I would actually be curious to look into. I think we should actually do some research on that because
have a whole episode on quantum computers.
Oh yeah,
I
mean, it's so advanced.
Imagine gaming
that with the speed of
yes.
Well,
oh, dude.
Funny enough, at the current time, I've heard some quantum physicists say that quantum computing doesn't necessarily work great for that kind of stuff.
Interesting. It's more for like data processing,
I wish
right?
I could remember exactly how he described it, but
it's for really, really fast data processing, right?
Yes, like when you're looking at a list on a standard computer, when you say, "Okay, I need to figure out where Z is on the list of the alphabet." Well, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, all the way down till it hits Z, and then it's like, oh, there it is. Bam. Mm-hmm. Now it gives you that information. Well, when you get to large lists of numbers, or
you need a way to search those and pull up just that specific information.
It can take a long time and a lot of computing power. Through quantum processes, it was something that it can deduce down which one it is within a second. It takes all the things that are not that and removes them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can just go right to whatever the one is. So it says, let's look at the probability for all of those. It goes through A to Z all at the same time, and then it removes everything that isn't Z, I believe is how he described it.
Right.
And cool. Now all you're left with is the one that is the thing that you're looking for.
That's so crazy.
I mean, think of what that'll do for search engines.
Now wrap that back around into the technological singularity. Now, if you can do that, and you can grow that, imagine how crazy the world will get. Like how fast information will flow.
Oh yeah, I mean,
imagine our brains working that same way. Like
think of the size of it.
Oh yeah, it
those nanobots
it'll replace one neuron in your brain, and
yeah.
then you have access to the wealth of the entire world's knowledge.
Exactly, especially if you can push that toward something like wireless device. If you could make that into something that performs wirelessly,
wow. Now to take it farther, so what's going to be the purpose? So right now in society, you go to school, you learn basic things, you go to college, you pick a trade, whatever, you specialize in what you're going to do. You go to college for business, or you go to the trade school to be an electrician or a plumber or whatever. But now with all this information, you're gonna be like, today I'm an electrician, and you're like, oh, that didn't work out. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be a plumber. Oh, that didn't work out. I'm gonna go build rockets for NASA. Like,
and it won't be that way though. That's the sad thing. I just heard a study done, and I believe it was Harvard University. Yeah, this will trip you out.
Okay.
Within, I think they said by 2030, some 80-something%, I think it was, of all jobs that currently exist today will be able to be done 100% robotic.
Oh, I believe it. But there's got to be somebody to build those robots, right? And then there's got to be somebody...
Say that.
Well, yeah, robots can build robots. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But...
And if robots can self-replicate or self-repair...
Your earning potential is going to be infinite, right? Because you can do whatever. So if you have access to the entire wealth of knowledge, those 20% of the jobs that are left for people to do, you can either decide to do them or not. But if you do want to do those, you're going to just know how to do them.
That's
right?
true.
So, but for those people that don't, like...
What are those people that don't have that option?
Yeah, but...
if there's not enough jobs,
is money,
what are they going to do?
Is money going to be an issue, though? Like, is money going to really matter at that point? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a diehard capitalist. I'm a diehard capitalist. Yeah, I love it. Like, but... is money going to be a thing? Is it going to be needed?
Because we've always idea is kind of archaic in and of itself.
But we've ever since the beginning of time, it's always been, here's something that's valuable for this service or product or thing, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So is that still going to be a thing? Are we still going like?
Some people say it will, and I think it will for a while.
To an extent, maybe.
Yeah,
Not
I know.
The same
Me
way
and my dad just got into an argument about this because it's all based on the time scale. Mm-hmm. At first, yes. And there's always the side that, what's the most controlling thing that you can utilize in the universe? What's the thing that everybody needs and wants the most in the world?
Money.
Bingo. So having a currency for just control of the population is going to be mandatory. No government is going to be able to control anybody without it. So there is going to be that side. And that's one of the things that my dad was saying is, well, you're going to have something like they've talked about, the universal income.
Oh, right. Where they're like, here's $1,000 a month for everybody. Yeah. Whatever it is, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's actually... Andrew Yang, I believe, the guy who's running 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he going to run for third party or?
I think he's running in the primary as a Democrat. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. No. I think actually. I don't know. Now you got me second thing. I don't think that sounds Democrat.
Well, there's O'Rourke and.
Oh, that dude's a fucking loony.
I know, dude.
He's crazy.
Well, he's just such a liar. I wish that the Democrats could come up with a candidate that actually would be somewhat. I can't think of a word.
Unfortunately,
competitive. A competitive candidate. They've got him and Joe Biden. And
God, Joe Biden's an idiot too. Creepy Uncle Joe.
Goddamn ridiculous.
But well, the thing is. Our two-party system is jacked anyway. Why?
I know.
And I get so much shit because I talk about why vote for the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I don't want to vote for evil, but and then
I'm
you can get into the
proponent of Andrew Yang just because I think his ideas are, what's the word where you're pushing for future.
Universal basic income would never work.
Not necessarily. It will work at a point when 80% of people have no way of earning income.
But where would that income come from? And if that...
That's the thing. It wouldn't be an income like that. It would be a set currency like there's no
Bitcoin.
actual currency,
Like Bitcoin.
technical currency. Yeah, it would be like Bitcoin. You'd make more.
So there's no...
You'd
Well, you can't make more Bitcoin.
I know. You say it inflates and stuff. There's going to be a point where that becomes irrelevant because...
Well, there's
and then
a
it's
finite
just a
amount of
control
Bitcoin.
thing.
Yeah.
But they're making more.
So
they're constantly making
so
more.
if it's
what
just
Bitcoin
a
mines are.
control thing, right? People need basic things to live. You need shelter, food,
and you're
you
going to
need
have
water.
to limit
But
people to getting that income.
Are you though? That's
to
getting into
control
some
people.
pretty
It's
deep
super-
state creepy.
It is. It's super
Because me
creepy.
being the libertarian,
I hate
borderline
it.
anarchist, I absolutely hate it.
The
Let me
thing
be
that
free.
One of the things that I thought, and I've heard economists talking to people about this situation.
Ooh, this is a whole nother topic in itself.
I know, the universal basic income.
Oh.
Even Joe Rogan, who supposedly was against it, I don't know. I've heard him go both ways and waffle on that one quite a bit. But he's now a proponent of the universal
I'm
basic
against
income.
it. I'm against it now and the way it's proposed now because we're not at that point in the future yet.
Nope.
But now, I mean, that money comes
agree.
from somewhere. That money comes from me, and
Yep.
that money comes from you. So
Exactly.
So
because we do
we're
have
gonna
enough jobs
we're gonna
for
make
everybody.
money, and they're gonna tax that money, and then they're gonna give us money and tax that money,
Yeah.
right? And then give it to other people's. I mean, it makes
just a
no
form of
sense.
control.
It's totally a form of control, and it's not gonna work.
It won't work at this point. Here in 8 to 10 years, I think it will be a viable thing for a short period, though, because once you have a society that can run on its own, without humans involved, and can make everything for humans to where, yeah, you want a Ferrari? Okay, I'm going to go up and say, I want a Ferrari. Clink, done. I think what it's going to be is you'll have an ID card that keeps an inventory of all your stuff. And because you can't have unlimited
That's
Ferraris,
kinda
Oh, I want 50 million Ferraris, even if you have the material to make the 50 million Ferraris. And the robots can do it within, a couple days or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Boom. Now you have 50 million Ferraris. Where are you going to put those? I mean, space is still...
So everybody's allotted one Ferrari.
Yes, exactly. And you'll have an inventory. Clink, okay, I want a Ferrari, done. Okay, now you're at your Ferrari limit. You can't have any more Ferraris. You can't have any more cars. So you'll probably have a limit on certain things like that. I think personally that Ferrari things like that won't exist anyway we'll be past that. We'll be...
Right. The point you're making makes
Yeah,
sense. But what about like food, water? I don't think water. I think by that point we're gonna...
his caloric value for what he needs to do what he's doing, what he wants to do for this particular situation that he's in.
So if I want to be fat, I can be fat.
You can
They'll
be
give
fat.
me extra calories. But if I want to be whatever, right?
It'll be able to limit. In fact, I think that kind of card like that, especially with the way that computing will be.
But who controls this?
It would be a government. And that's a
I
scary
don't
thing.
like that.
I don't either. But what are you going to do? Because when you have 7 billion people under this whole program, and it'll be more by the time that comes about. I mean, what are the estimated population predictions for 2029?
Billions. Well, I mean, we're already in billions, but I mean...
We're at 7 billion. We might be at like 9 billion by then,
more than that.
Maybe more. So
especially with the advance in medicine by then, too, people are going to be living longer.
People will... That's a weird thing with the Singularity that we didn't really discuss is...
The medical side of it. People living longer.
We did a little bit with like the bionic eye and stuff,
Right.
but one thing that I didn't mention before, and I think it's really a key component to the technological
I
singularity.
think this is going to be our final segment on the technological singularity, too.
Yeah, probably a good idea because we're running a little long.
Get it.
In medicine, and there's a name for this theory, but it's the point where you can extend human life long enough that humans...
To the next technological advancement to extend it longer.
Exactly. And that is an actual thing. It's a theory that has
So
been created.
you say right now, humans live to, on average, I think it's like 80, right?
80.
Okay. So say you're 75 years old and they're like, oh, we came up with this pill. I mean, it's
Extend
not
your
going to
life
be a
by
pill.
20
But
years.
where it might be a pill, I don't know. But yeah, it'll extend your life by 20 years. 15 years later, they're like, oh, we can do it another 30. It's like, but
It progresses like that, and then
right.
people can live forever.
Have you seen that movie? It was with Bruce Willis and Forrest Whitaker. It was also the rock opera, where they have the artificial organs, and you basically take out a loan on them. Repo Man. And it was also Repo, the genetic opera. I remember watching that.
Dude,
actually.
that is
But
so
that concept, right? Oh,
Yeah.
you haven't paid up on your spine. We're gonna take it. Like,
See,
ooh.
but that's something that all those movies always do. It's always this currency based, like
Right.
the one where it's like you have an allotted amount of time to live and you earn your time to live.
Oh,
so
shit.
you can live forever or you can die really quickly depending on your lifestyle choices, how much you spend and stuff.
Right.
That
That's a creepy
is a creepy concept. Right? So, but things like that, there's going to be a currency. Well, I don't know if there will be. I think that it's going to be a thing of just what's sustainable. We'll have AI that can predict what's sustainable for humans to have. Space exploration, space.
Oh yeah,
Just
we're gonna be
space
populating
in general.
other planets in no time.
Having enough space for humans to exist is going to be kind of a key component.
Well, we're going to be colonizing other planets in no time. I mean, we're going to be
Exactly.
terraforming. Like, we can turn Mars into a habitable planet, and I'm
At some
not even
point.
just Mars. Right, it's going to
so
take a long time.
complex right now.
Oh,
but
but you look and you go out farther. There's the moons of Jupiter. There's
Yeah.
like Io and Europa, and
they're thinking there might be life on Io.
Really?
Yeah, they found something gave away that because they know that there's like liquid water on
Right.
Io.
Right.
Something they saw like
It gave
some
off, like,
heat
carbon, right?
signatures or
Like
something.
carbon
yeah, maybe it was a
signatures.
carbon signature that they saw.
Because I believe carbon is a sign of
It
life.
is. It is. It's one
Right.
of the key components.
Right.
And if you have something like that, you know that it's possibly habitable by our standards.
Right.
In some way or another, whether we have to change our biological makeup through, genetic splicing. We never talked about that.
No, we didn't. But that could be
man.
that could be a topic on it,
Podcast.
because you talk about genetic splicing, but then you also get into like designer babies and
Yep.
like choosing.
They did that.
I know, it's a thing. It's called CRISPR.
Yeah, but they
I
genetically
want
changed
my
a couple babies.
I want
to
my
be-
baby to have blue eyes, and I want it to be good at sports, and I want it to be able to sing good, and I want it to be smart like Einstein, and I want
But I want it to be based on my own genetic material, so they'll pick and choose which
Right.
genetics they choose from you, splice in a few other ones, and boom, now you have a
How
baby that is like perfect.
crazy, right? Well, yeah, I don't want my baby to ever get diabetes. I don't want it to get. I don't want it to be susceptible to
You change its
epilepsy,
predisposition.
whatever. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's nuts.
Weird. Super weird.
Super
'Cause
crazy.
you'd be able to-
That'll be a cool
I want my
episode
baby
in
to
itself.
have like a 12-inch dick. Wham! It just pops out of the.
That is not where I was going with that at all.
But you never know. I mean, you can change anything that you
I mean,
want.
I suppose. I guess.
We'll be able to splice that into ourselves. That'd be the first thing I'd be doing. Wham! Just slap that sausage on the table. Whap!
You're like, see this? This is genetically mine. You want my
Product.
GMO?
Product, yeah, I got a GMO dick,
USDA approved. Oh Jesus. Okay,
USDA
well that's about.
approved beef.
Oh Jesus.
okay. Well,
Oh, that is
anyway, let's probably,
hilarious.
now you
But,
guys have enough information
you
to
have
go
enough-
and seek
Mhm.
out more information about the technological singularity and give us some feedback.
I
Tell
think-
us what you've seen as being huge
I-
advancements with this.
I think after doing several episodes, maybe every 20 episodes or so, I think we should do an episode where we go back and revisit past topics with people's inputs.
Yeah.
Like we go back and answer questions or answer concerns or
guarantee we
whatever.
should
I
definitely
think
do
that would
that.
be a good idea. But if you have those, make sure you email us at hardlyadultspodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email. Or if you have Facebook, we're at facebook.com/hardlyadults.
Or go to our YouTube page and
we have YouTube.
Post in the comments.
We have a Twitter now. Twitter's cool. And Twitter's very simple. You can follow us. Follow us on SoundCloud. We have Patreon. I mean, we are all over the place now.
And we're going to be putting ourselves on CastBox in not too long.
Yes.
So look for our podcast in CastBox.
And I eventually want to get on Spotify.
Yes. So we're going to be everywhere. We're taking over the world.
And I news from my buddies over in the UK. Hardly Adults has crossed the what do they call it? The pond. They've crossed the pond. Hardly Adults has made it over to the UK. We have listeners over there, so
big shout out
to them, the Brits.
Hell yeah! Thanks guys for listening. This is Hardly Adults, and we'll see you next time, boys.
Later.